Ready? Okay. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Small Town Big Gays. We are the gays who are too big for how small of a town we live in. I am Chance.
And I am Travis, aka Khloe, today for your viewing pleasure. You're welcome.
Mm-hmm.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to Small Town, Small Gay with my two big gay friends.
Wow. All right. We're starting off strong, huh? We're waiting for that moment, weren't you?
Of course.
Oh, and look at that.
Already. That's okay.
And you got the shade right back to you.
Literally. Thank you. CPS.
All right. Well, I think this hat is just not going to have its moment on camera, which is fine. You did.
Well, who is this in between us, Khloe?
Well, this little demon monster is the newest addition to the Wold clan. This is my drag daughter Diablo.
Mwah. Hello.
Thank you for being here with us.
Of course. Thank you for having me. I'm really excited to have this platform, and I'm really grateful you asked me to do this, and I'm excited.
Platform. She's acting like we have viewers.
Yeah.
I'm one of them.
The only thing that's platform is the heels I'm not wearing. And yes, I'm not wearing them, but Diablo is.
Those are free. No, you have to charge people.
I'm sorry.
Yes, remember, get the money first.
Yes, money up front.
Yes.
I'm learning.
She's learning.
Just a little gaby.
Her first lesson to be my official drag daughter was, if you're going to take your top off, get the money first.
Mm-hmm.
And
I didn't listen.
She did not listen, but we're working on it. All right, so we're going to dive right in. Tell us your most traumatic story that's ever happened to you.
I'm just kidding. When I was a senior in high school, I was a junior in high school. It was my last year taking gym class, and I had to finish this gym class to graduate. And it was me and my two other friends that I made in that class who were like very obviously lesbian presenting.
Okay.
So this was like towards the end of the year. It was obviously nice out. We were playing football outside.
Okay.
And the teacher gave us an option to either walk the track or play football. And me and my two lesbians obviously chose to walk the track.
Naturally.
So This was during when half the school had lunch and the other half had class, and I had class, right?
Yeah. So
we're walking the track, and someone who's eating lunch in their car, they yell at their car window,
oh. So was that weird having your parents drive by at school?
No, I'm used to it.
It was nice of them to at least say hi to you.
Yeah.
Okay, well, we're going to work our way up to junior year.
Okay.
But I'm glad, that was a good story to start out strong.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Am I doing good so far?
You're
doing great.
You're doing okay.
Okay.
I'll say you're doing great.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
If Khloe's your drag mom, does that make me your father?
Yeah.
It makes you like a father brother.
Father,
There's a like
father, brother, uncle.
Yeah, because you're kind of like my child sometimes, but you're also like my lover sometimes, and you're also my cousin. I don't know. We have a very weird relationship.
Very confusing family dynamic.
Yeah, I kind of feel like I'm that way with all my children, to be honest.
Mm.
Are you looking good?
Am I?
Okay. If you are one of our YouTube viewers, you will quickly see that Diablo and Amber are cut from the exact
Literally
same cloth,
same person.
which is so funny because as much as I can sometimes be similar to them, I'm very different because I'm just always know I'm a beast, so I just don't care. And these two are always clocking their looks, which I love. I love that for you. That's great.
Thank you.
But also, like, I just know I'm pretty, so I don't have to worry about it. You'll get to that point
one day.
Okay.
All right. So I know a little bit about your story, but I don't know a ton of details about your story.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to learn more about you today.
I'm excited to learn a lot about myself as well.
Good. You're not a
I feel
girl.
like there's stuff that I don't even know about myself,
Well, you're going to find it out today.
Absolutely. That's what this is for.
Yeah. Not a girl, not yet a woman. The Diablo
Just
story.
A boy. I have a
Okay.
Good.
In case you were wondering, you now know.
Unclockable.
In case you couldn't tell.
In case you couldn't tell
by these arched eyebrows.
Yeah. Yeah. So, where did you grow up?
Eau Claire.
Did
Eau
you?
Claire, Wisconsin, born and raised. Finished high school, moved out right away.
Yeah, you're like, I had to get the hell out of here.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, very that. So, growing up in Eau Claire, when did you first realize that you were of queer descent?
Oh, my whole life.
Yeah.
I remember in 4th or 5th grade, I told my best friend at the time, I have a secret to tell you, I'm gay.
Okay.
So my whole, this was never
never a wonder. You
I didn't
just
even know.
knew.
I didn't even know what gay was. It was just like, oh, I like boys.
Yeah.
You know, like I just thought it was like everyone like, well, this is true, but like I just thought it was normal that like people liked boys and people liked girls, and it was normal for guys to like guys, which it is normal, but you know.
Well, it's not, but
I'm not
glad,
anymore.
I'm glad.
This is Trump's America now.
Yeah. I was like, I'm glad you've gotten to the point where you think
Yes.
that's normal. That's great. So when did your friend in 4th grade was like your first kind of like telling someone out loud about
Yes,
it?
for sure.
And what was their reaction to that?
I don't remember.
No?
It wasn't negative. It was just
Okay.
like, okay.
Just like,
Yeah.
fine.
We were like 7.
So they're just like, okay, get away from me.
Yeah, very that. We're not friends anymore.
Okay. And so when did you have the moment of telling your family?
I never came out. I really hate the whole stigma that gay people have to come out. Like, why don't straight people have to come out, you know?
Yeah.
So, and I'm the type of person where if I don't want to do something, I'm not going to do it.
Mm-hmm.
So I never really came out to my mom, at least. I had to come out to my dad, but only because he thought I was trans.
Okay.
Oh.
So basically what happened was, how old was I? Like, I think I was 14, 15. There was like other issues happening. So my dad was like, let's go out to dinner and talk about everything. And before I even went to this dinner, I knew it was going to come up, like my sexuality, because this was right around the time where I started playing with makeup for the first time.
Okay.
Like I haven't had my first performance yet, but I started dabbling in makeup a little bit. And I think my mom would send him pictures because I would send my mom pictures. So my mom would send my dad the pictures I sent her.
Mm.
So we're at Fuji in Eau Claire, Wisconsin. And my dad, we're just talking. And my dad's like, and I don't know if you're, and that's when I knew it was going to come up. So before he could even finish, I said, yes, I'm gay. I like guys. And he goes, oh, I know that. And then he says, but I don't know if you like want to be a girl. And I was not expecting that at all. So I'm like, oh, no. Like I'm gay. I like guys. And he goes, are you sure? And I'm like, yeah. And he goes, because I've seen you play with makeup and dressing up. And I'm like, oh, it's just drag. Like, I'm not, like, I'm gay and I do drag.
Yeah.
And he's like, are you sure? Because there's nothing wrong if you are. And I'm like, no. Yeah.
So he was trying to transbait you.
Yeah.
I think so. Now that you say it. Oh my God.
I thought you were going to say his reaction was like, oh, you're just gay? Oh, thank God.
Right. It's Father's Day, by the way.
Yeah.
Happy Father's Day.
Happy Father's
Love
Day
you,
to
Dad.
all the
Mwah.
daddies out there,
Yeah.
including Diablo's hot dad.
Yeah, sure.
I don't think I've ever seen your dad.
He's a handsome man. I just wish he was like 2 feet taller for me personally. Then I would think about him in an unkind way, but I don't because he's just little to
Too
me.
short.
Yeah.
Mm.
But he's a nice guy. You have very supportive parents.
I do. They're great.
Yeah, have they always been like this support? Because I mean, that's incredible that your father was just like, if you're trans, you can tell me. Like, no.
Yeah, no, it was very
fucking
much
sweat.
like, it's fine if you are. Just let me know so we can like get you the help you need.
Mhm.
Yeah, they've always been super supportive. My whole life, my dad told me, as long as you're not hurting yourself or other people, do whatever you want.
Yes.
So
I
yeah.
love your father.
Yeah.
We love that.
Mm-hmm.
And you have 2 siblings, correct?
Yes, I have an older brother and an older sister.
Okay. And were they like supportive and in the know of everything too, or?
They were young, you know, like the closet was glass. So like there was, you know, there was the teasing and like, stop acting so gay, you know, stuff like, but that's like sibling stuff. They're very supportive now.
Okay. I was like, do we need to call them out on the podcast at all? Do you want to humiliate them now like they did to you?
By name.
Any revenge that you want to seek?
Oh, life is already doing them dirty, so I don't need to.
Amen. Karma always gets a girl,
Okay.
you know? And then like, obviously like your immediate family was very supportive. And I feel like that can sometimes like leak into like, was your extended family also supportive?
Yeah.
Like, okay.
I've never, like in my family, there was never any like second, like, you know, nothing negative about it.
Okay. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I love that. And your parents have they've come to all your shows for the most part. They're always there.
Absolutely.
Raring and ready to go. I actually remember right after COVID, I went down to go visit my friend in Austin, Texas. It was like when we were all kind of like starting to first travel again and things like that. And my old coworker messaged me and she's like, hey, I'm going to give your number to this woman. She wants to get in touch with you. Her kid wants to do some drag and was wondering if you could help them out. And then I just deleted the number and I was like, I'm not interested. That sounds disgusting. And I wish I would have stuck to my
Yeah,
guns.
I was gonna say. But
you know,
you created a monster.
yeah, life is full of regrets, and I'm staring at my biggest one
Yeah,
right
I was
now.
the failed abortion of the family.
No, I remember I actually called your mom while I was on my vacation and
really?
and talked to her about setting up a time for you to come in and do some makeup together. And then I feel like a weirdly like awkward long amount of time went by before we actually met.
And I remember like I would see pictures of you and I just thought you were hideous. And I'm just kidding.
She's definitely a Wold.
But no, they would show me pictures of you. I thought it was, I wasn't really exposed to local drag a whole lot. My like only impressions of drag was Drag Race. So like it was really interesting seeing like a local figure, and like obviously you're super well known in the local community. So it was fun seeing someone that I could relate to because you're from here, and like in drag, like I felt represented.
Yeah, and like seeing another like really rail thin queen was just like really
I'm not
relatable.
the skinny
for
girl
me.
anymore.
I know,
Fucking
yeah.
bitch.
It's just so,
Can I say that?
Yes.
yeah.
Well, what was your first like exposure to drag? You said Drag Race, but do you remember like how old you were, what it was like?
Yeah. Also, let's just mention, how old are you?
Yeah.
I'm 19. I'll be 20 in September.
Yeah. Take that in, audience. Take
Yeah.
that in. Okay. So yeah, what was like your exposure to drag then as a younger person?
Yes. So like most of Gen Z, my first exposure to drag was through Drag Race. I knew who RuPaul was, but only because of another show that me and my mom watched, and it was called Skin Wars, and it was just like a body art competition, and RuPaul was a judge on that. So good show. Me and my mom would watch it together all the time. And then when I was 8, my dad picked me up from school, dropped me off at his house. I went to the living room to turn on the TV, and I looked at our recommendations for like our TV and what shows to recommend, and I saw Drag Race, and I was like, oh, that's the guy from the show, like let me click on it. And it was the season 5 makeover challenge where they had to do up the troops. Had no idea what it was. Again, I have no idea what drag is. This was all very new to me. So I watched the full episode start to finish. Didn't know what happened. I thought like their confessionals and like them on the runway, I thought those were different people. So I'm like, I don't know what this is, but I'm intrigued because I've always loved fashion and just gay shit. Yeah. So I do my research and I find out more about drag, and I also find out that season 7 was going to be premiering for the first time like a week later. So I was like, oh, let me record it and watch it. So I watch season 7 beginning to end, week by week by week, never miss an episode, and I kept this up until to this day. And I remember on season 7, that was like my first real like introduction to drag, and seeing, do you remember Max?
Of course.
Yes, that was like the first time seeing Max on TV. That was the first time in my entire life I felt represented. Cause just like, I've always been a vintage girl, and just, like aesthetic wise, nothing's ever changed with me aesthetic wise, and just what I've liked, so yeah.
That's pretty incredible that like actually like for as young as you are to start at season 7. 'Cause,
Absolutely.
like, most of it's like season 12, like later on. So that's pretty incredible that you were exposed to it pretty young.
Yeah,
and,
never missed an episode since.
Yeah, and that was like a kind of like the funniest thing about season 7, I feel like, of Drag Race is like it's kind of known as like a lackluster season.
Disagree.
But I know that people say that, but I would say season 7 has the most famous queens of all seasons. Like,
yeah, I mean, it's
Katya,
Trixie and Katya, and they're the two most, the
Violet,
second and third most famous drag queens apart from RuPaul herself. Like,
Kennedy, Ginger.
There's so many good ones
Fame.
on there.
Yeah, one of my favorite seasons.
Pearl, like that is probably, I would say like for me that season was like had the best like queens. I think maybe just like the challenges themselves weren't good, like the setup for them to do well.
It was fashion queens on a comedy season. That's what it was.
Yeah. Yep. Very that, which I don't know anything about because I'm a fashion.
You are
fashion
I love
queen.
this look. You look great.
Fashion Nova queen is what I am. Yes. Okay. So you started watching it, knew it was for you, and then you started kind of dabbling in some makeup stuff, like your mom's makeup, I'm assuming. Okay. And so you like knew trajectory that drag was like something that you wanted to get into, or were you just kind of like, I just want to dabble in this and see?
As season 7 was airing, I went to Kohl's No, it was Shopko, not Kohl's. I went to Shopko and I bought like their budget makeup line.
Yep.
And tried out drag just for fun. Like, and I've never taken it seriously. I was 7, so I didn't really know what I was doing, obviously.
Oh my God.
Or no, I was 8, not 7.
I was like, I would like you all to know that while she was 8 years old, I was 30.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yes.
Okay. Keep going.
But yeah, like tried it for fun in my bedroom, didn't tell anyone, and then never thought about it again. I would always tell myself like, oh, I would never do drag. I just like drag. And I stuck to it for a while. And then when COVID hit, obviously, like everyone else, I was super depressed and just like I was very young, but like, you know, you get in your head when you're young and you're like, I have no trajectory in life right now. Did I say that right? Trajectory?
No, you didn't. But
I didn't graduate high school. That's just kidding. Trajectory. I had no trajectory, yes, in life at the time. So I knew I needed something new and just something to fulfill me. And I was like, and that was when TikTok was becoming super big too. And like my whole feed was drag. So I was just like, let me try it out. And then got in contact with you, had my first performance and just stuck with it.
So how do you feel knowing that back then you had no trajectory for your life and today you still don't have one? How does that feel?
You know what? It's a growing process. And I wake up every day, slit my wrist and just...
All right.
Next question.
Okay. Okay. Wow.
That was a joke, by the way.
I'm going to cut that part.
Well,
where you say it's
Jem
a joke.
is triggered. Wow. Okay. Sorry. So back to the story at hand here. So COVID time is when you really were like, I'm going to do drag. I'm going to.
Yes. And I told my mom and she's like, I told my mom, I want to be a drag queen. And she says, am I supposed to be surprised by that?
Very, very supportive
love
mom
your
thing to say.
parents.
Yeah. And then so right after she said that, we went to the mall and she took me to Ulta and then bought me everything I would need, like foundation, contour, palettes, everything. And then I went home and started practicing and just kept practicing ever since.
Yeah. Love that. Supportive mom.
Absolutely.
So when you kind of figured out that you wanted to do drag, did you like immediately know like what your aesthetic was going to be and kind of stick into it?
No, when I first started, I wanted to be a spooky girl. That might be surprising. Is it?
No,
it's not.
Your name is Diablo.
You're spooky.
Well,
Every time I look at you, it's a fucking jump scare.
Okay.
So I mean, you're doing it, girl. You are doing it.
No, when I first started, I wanted to be spooky. I wanted to be alternative. That's why. That's part of the reason why I stuck with the name Diablo. I just never changed it.
Yeah, I feel like your music when you first started was kind of in that realm.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So what inspired the spookiness? Why did you want to go that direction first?
I think it was just the emo phase we all go through.
Yeah,
but some of us never grow out of it.
It's evolved.
And you knew you would never be glamour.
Well, let's ask the audience.
Well, audience, let her know.
Please.
Drag her ass.
But no, wanted to be a spooky girl. And then I've always loved vintage things my whole life. My favorite thing, like some of my favorite childhood memories is when me and my mom would drive around Eau Claire and go to different garage sales. I loved thrifting. I always loved thrifting. I still thrift to this day. I'm really incredible at it. But no, always loved vintage. I don't know why. I think it's just these like tchotchkes, especially like these little objects that have so much history. We don't know the history, but we know it's there. I just find something so fascinating about it. So I've always loved vintage movies, Marilyn Monroe.
I have a theory.
I'm ready.
I feel like I don't know how to say this. I'm trying to think of. So
Where's my camera?
I feel like there's very specific people who like thrifting, and I feel like it's. I'm gonna probably get some hate for this. I feel like people who thrift are either poor or they're rich. There's like no in between. I feel like people who kind of like grow up somewhere in like the middle class like enjoy consumerism, and like I think people that enjoy thrifting like are rich, and so they have like that, so they want like things that have like a story to them, where to me that just like makes me think of like this is so terrible, makes like vintage stuff makes me think of poor people.
Interesting.
Like, I hate I would well, and also, I'm going to say this. You can make this a TikTok too.
Okay.
Vintage shopping is for skinny people. It is not for the plus size community.
That is true.
There's that to start with. Is my vagina on camera?
Probably.
We'll have to edit.
I'll blur it.
Okay. I just realized I'm not wearing a panty. I'm that girl. Sorry. Vintage shopping is not for plus size community. So I've like never got into it because there would never be anything for me.
Well, when I was a kid, I would thrift for toys and tchotchkes, not clothes. Now though, I definitely, all my clothes are thrifted. Even a lot of my drag is thrifted. My whole apartment is decorated in thrifted goods. Yeah. I would never shop at a regular store. I'm
going to disagree with it's either for rich or poor people, because I know a bunch of people dead center who are very into antiquing. Antiquing and thrifting, are those the same thing in your eye?
No. Antiquing is like bougie thrifting.
Yeah, true.
I love both.
I hate it all.
Is that why you hate me?
I want things that are brand new and really poor quality that are going to break and I can replace them soon.
But if you antique, there's always the chance that something will be haunted.
Yeah, maybe that's really it. I think I have, I'm too much of an empath to handle antiques.
True. Right.
Yeah. Do you have a comment, Diablo?
No.
You look like you were ready to say something about that.
No, I'm just admiring.
Oh my God. Okay. Well, I'm glad that you enjoy thrifting, because someone needs to buy junk. So, we need people like you in the world.
Absolutely.
So I love that.
Always here to do it. I love junk. I love stuff.
I also hate, is my vagina on camera?
That's so Patricia of you.
It's very Patricia of me to be showing my...
Before filming this, I was like, I got tough shoes to fill. The episode after Patricia, damn it.
Yeah.
After the Patricia episode.
Amber's also very upset that you did not respond to the Patricia video.
It's been Pride weekend.
Well, tell her.
The episode came out on Friday. We were busy yesterday.
Tell Amber your thoughts right now.
Amber, I'm sorry. I haven't watched the Patricia video yet. I will watch the Patricia video and insert it right here. There's a video of her
doing all this?
I want to insert it right here.
I don't think it's actually of her puss, but it's just of her. We'll send it to you.
Why didn't no one tell me?
We'll get to you.
I just found out about it yesterday.
If anyone's interested in seeing Patricia, let us know. She is an icon in the gay community now, a queer icon. And I don't even think she knows it.
She does not.
Amber and I did have a discussion last night talking about what we think Patricia does in her day-to-day life. It was we're very concerned with her. Not concerned, but like we just want to know her.
I'm not concerned at all.
Do we want to like stalk her on the internet and become friends with her?
Yeah. Right now, my life's obsessions are interviewing Patricia and Judy Clark, and I'm close to getting Judy Clark.
Close to Judy Clark.
I'm getting close.
Who's that?
I don't know either.
What? Are you kidding me? Judy, well, I can understand why you wouldn't know Judy Clark.
I was born in 2005.
We've discussed this before. The only reason I know who Judy Clark is because you're obsessed with interviewing Judy Clark.
She is a local news anchor icon to the Chippewa Valley and was my first taste of what a celebrity was, because she would always, obviously my grandparents would watch the news and I would see Judy Clark on it all the time. And then to then realize that you could actually run into her in the wild was crazy to me.
Yeah.
Seeing someone on TV, it's Judy Clark. And I have been lurking around this community for all these years. And, I think we directly need to talk about fat phobia this episode and blame Chris Jorgensen, who definitely doesn't listen to this podcast. So I'll just talk shit about him for a second. Who would have people be interviewed about the Fireball every year on the news, and they would get to talk to Judy Clark. And he would always ask Jem because she was the skinny pretty one, and I was the beast.
Mm-hmm.
So, not anymore.
Fat phobic. Chris Jorgensen is fat phobic.
You heard it here first, folks.
Maybe Judy Clark will be, and that's what I need to know in an interview.
These are the pressing questions we're going to ask Judy Clark.
Is she fat phobic? That's going to be my first question. Okay, anyways, back to Diablo. So vintage.
Diablo, are you fat phobic?
Why do you look at me when you say that or think about that?
Next question.
Interesting. Okay. Well, I'm really done with this interview. Until we get Judy Clark, I will no longer be doing the podcast.
Fair.
Okay, so vintage.
I love vintage. I love stuff. I love
junkie
thrifting.
queen. Okay.
Every weekend I go thrifting,
Okay, so you thought you were going to be the ookie spooky queen.
but now I'm the vintage girl. I'm
Thrifty vintage
yeah,
girl.
the youngest one, but with the oldest references.
That's true. That's true. Where do you find inspiration in your drag and your persona now?
I love pop culture, so like I've always loved Marilyn Monroe since I was younger. Betty Page, Dita Von Teese, those are my girls. Those are my holy trinity. But yeah, just like old movies and pop culture. Yeah, I love history.
Were you like exposed to a lot of that stuff growing up, or?
I don't really remember. I remember always having like a fascination of women. I still do. Like just fascinated with women.
Beauty.
You know,
Yeah.
beauty, exactly. And like I think that's why I love Marilyn Monroe so much. I have her tattooed on me. Just like I would see pictures of her when I was younger, and like she's the most beautiful woman that ever existed.
Can I tell you, I also, as a young queer person, had an obsession with Marilyn Monroe at one point in my life. And as an empath, no, I had a cardboard cutout of her. I had like a poster. I had like all these like fake award statues. Like I was very into like that kind of like golden era of Hollywood
Absolutely.
for a while. And I remember one night I was just staring at the poster of her and I started to get the creeps because I felt like her energy. This is so weird. I can't believe I'm saying this on camera, but I just felt really weirded out by it. And then the next day I had to get rid of all of it. So maybe that's why I have an issue with vintage too, because I'm an empath who
Because the ghost of Marilyn Monroe came through a fucking Target poster
Okay,
and tried
first
to
of
steal
all,
your soul.
It was from FYE or Suncoast. Maybe it was from Suncoast. Do you guys remember that story? You don't remember,
I remember
that
FYE, but not Suncoast.
Yeah. And it was a very expensive poster. And I looked into her goddamn soul in that poster that night. And
She said,
you heard
JFK
about the-
killed me.
Do you know about the hotel that she haunts?
No, I know about the poster from Suncoast that she haunted
I don't
in
know
my
about
room.
this hotel that she haunts. Tell me about the hotel.
In I forget what it's. I think it's the Marriott Hotel. That's where she would stay just to get away from the paparazzi and from the fame, and that was where she was most happy. So it's rumored. It's a conspiracy theory that when she died, she chose to haunt this hotel.
I am going to probably haunt the La Quinta Inn in Bloomington. 'Cause that's where I go to get away from the paparazzi and to have
It's me. I'm the paparazzi.
rendezvous with Grinder Trade. So
Okay, where would you haunt when you die?
Khloe, wherever
okay.
she is, just for funsies.
So we'll be at the Bloomington La Quinta Inn.
Blooming, yeah. I'll just be watching you suck Trade off and just be
Yeah.
me in the corner. Me, oh no, my ghost will sit in the cuck chair.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
I was telling people about cuck chairs yesterday. Have you ever been in a cuck chair?
What's that?
It's the chair that you sit in while you watch people pleasure themselves.
I have not.
You know how in a hotel room there's always a chair in the corner?
Yeah.
That's the cuck chair.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because the guy sits there while
I've
someone
sat
else
in one
bangs
before,
your wife.
but not for that reason.
Okay. Well,
Not yet.
Maybe Pride this year in Minneapolis?
Next year.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll see.
Wait, will you be 21 by next year, Pride?
No.
Okay, 2 years. If it hasn't happened to you in 2 years, I will make you sit in a cuck chair while I eat Cheesecake Factory out of a
I would like to see it.
take
I was wondering where you were going to go with this.
because that is also something that I enjoy doing at the Bloomington La Quinta Inn.
Yeah,
After going to the World Market.
of course.
Diablo's so not
What's your
interested in my
favorite
life.
section to shop in at World Market?
Well, why does anyone ever go to World Market but to get foreign snacks?
So what country do you like?
You weren't expecting follow-up questions, were you?
Germany.
Okay.
Oh, English tea cakes are actually the best there.
Okay.
They're little graham crackers with marshmallow and they're covered in chocolate.
Oh, like pinwheels.
Graham crackers
Sure.
covered in chocolate. So
It's like a graham cracker with like a marshmallow fluff on top covered in chocolate.
So like a moon
s'more.
pie.
Not so much. Well, I mean, kind of, but way more marshmallow, less
Okay.
graham.
Okay.
Delicious. I highly recommend. I'm an influencer now, I think.
Mhm.
Sponsor us.
Wow, what an episode. This is kind of wildly all over the place. I'm really sorry, Diablo.
Yeah.
That's it? I'm just kidding.
No, yeah, we're done. Thank you for telling us about your life.
Of course.
Basically, you've always been a you became a drag queen,
Yes.
and you're young, and no
And
one.
pretty kind of. We're getting there.
We're
getting there.
gonna work on
We're
it.
almost there.
And you have supportive parents. Ooh.
Yeah, and I
Yeah.
love thrifting.
Love thrifting.
Yes,
Love pink.
love Pink.
Okay.
She's a bad seed on this earth.
She does need to be killed.
Well, yeah.
I was just about to be so shady to Jem, but I can't because she's so nice. But I was going to say maybe after she saw Jem's performances of her this weekend, she might kill herself.
After those performances, I did not love Pink. Hate Pink.
This is how we'll know if Jem's continued to listen past her
or
episode.
she's done.
This is Diablo actually listens to the podcast. So, and those of you who are regularly listening, we do like to talk shit about certain people just to see if they're listening. So now we've covered Jem to see if she's listening anymore, which I can almost guarantee you she will not be. Felicia definitely still has not ever listened. And
get your jab in right
you
now.
know, she won't even listen to her own episode when we get her on here. So that's okay. But I am thrilled to have her on here, and she will definitely be wearing one of her $5 Wisconsin wigs for us.
She loves Wisconsin.
She loves Wisconsin, and Wisconsin loves her.
Mm-hmm.
So if you had to fuck, marry, kill 3 of the local queens, who would they be?
I would kill myself.
Okay, fair. Good move, honestly.
Yeah.
So then you don't have to fuck or marry
Do
one.
I need to finish?
Yes. You can kill yourself after fucking and marrying one of them.
Next question.
Fuck, marry, kill Marilyn Monroe, RuPaul Charles, or as a boy, or
Dita Von Teese.
Dita Von Teese.
Marry Dita because I like her house. Kill Marilyn because legends never die, and then fuck RuPaul because he has money. Hi, RuPaul.
Love that. Okay, so you started getting into drag and doing that, and so your dad actually at first thought you were trans. Okay, and so then once you kind of explained to him that you weren't and you were doing drag, I'm assuming they were just very supportive of it, on board for it.
No, my whole life it's been do whatever you want as long as you're not hurting yourself or others.
Okay, and you actually have decided to, instead of, you just graduated high school recently, instead of pursuing like a career or going to traditional college route, you decided to move to the big city of Minneapolis.
Huge.
And you're looking to pursue drag as like your career, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So like what made you decide that this is going to be your life's route and this is what you want to do?
Yeah, so nothing else like career-wise has ever really fulfilled me, you know? At least like looking at it long term.
Yeah, I mean, you've had a lot of job experience, a lot of life to know that nothing else is going to fulfill you.
Absolutely.
For sure.
So I just kind of threw all my noodles on the wall and now I'm hoping it sticks.
Okay. You threw your one noodle.
Well, yes.
Okay. So what, with throwing that noodle at the wall, what are you doing without your brain in your head?
What?
Yeah. That's what I thought. Okay. So.
But no, it's just like, I've never felt so happy doing drag. So it's like, you know, and like once I found out like, oh, this is a career outlet for some people, not a lot, but some.
Yeah.
I just figured, why not give it a shot?
So you're just going to go for it full force.
Why not? Life's too short.
That's true. That's true.
You got to go for it.
So what does making a career out of drag look like in your eyes? For you specifically?
I want to be a full-time traveling showgirl every weekend, 5, 6, 7 gigs a week. Diablo's bookings at gmail.com.
How do you feel about Yahoo email accounts?
I didn't even know that was a thing.
Do you know what Hotmail is?
Yes.
Okay. Is that still around?
Should I get rid of my Yahoo email account?
You should get rid of your
that
AOL.
I've had for 16 years?
Yes, you should actually.
Okay. I would like you all to know that Chance is officially becoming my manager as of July 1st of this year, and he will be taking care of my new emails.
Chance at strangehavens.com.
Yep. That's how you will get a hold of me, because I'm not doing any of this anymore. Chance is my new manager. And if you are a showgirl, drag queen that wants to do this about 4 times a month, get a hold of Chance. I feel like because you're younger, there's not a ton of opportunities to do drag pretty regularly, at least, because
I think when you turn 18, there starts to become
more for
stuff
sure.
for sure. But I think when it comes to like being booked consistently, it's not really a possibility.
Yeah, it's difficult because there's
For
not
sure.
a lot of, I mean, most of our venues are nightclubs and
Yes.
they're usually for the most part 21 plus. There are a lot in bigger cities that do have 18 plus nights. So I think that moving for you from a small town to a big city was kind of a necessary
Yes.
requirement because of that. Do you think if, let's say you were in a small town that had the opportunities that a bigger city would you stay there? Or are you like, I'm a big city girl?
I would leave. I'm a big city girl for sure. Just I like seeing new things. Another reason, one of the main reasons why I moved isn't even drag related. It was just to see new people and just explore. That sounded wrong, but just
Explore
not
them.
explore new people, but just like, become introduced to different types of people because in Eau Claire, it's white people.
Very white, yeah. Yes.
So it's just like, I wanted to be introduced to more cultures, more people, more of the world.
Yeah.
And I feel like in Minneapolis, there's a little bit of everything.
And you wanted to explore people.
No.
Not a slut?
You have to work for the golden ticket.
Oh.
Diablo's asexual.
Wow.
They're a asexual person.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So, are you feeling like you're getting that exposure that you were looking for in
Absolutely.
Minneapolis?
When it comes to like meeting new people.
Yeah.
Absolutely. For sure.
Yeah. Tell us about some of your new friends.
I mean,
just kidding. You don't have
well,
to.
no, but like
Yeah.
being introduced, like talking about the drag scene there is incredible and so much talent and mostly everyone is so friendly and
Yeah.
but even if you're not friendly, I don't care because I think you're fucking sickening, so I'm gonna like you.
Yeah.
But no,
Is there anyone that's really bitchy that you want to call out right now?
I haven't had a bad experience yet.
Not even with Amber Hudson?
Well,
Isn't she this?
forks found in kitchen.
Those are some great one-liners. You've been revving up for this your whole life, haven't you?
Yeah.
All 19 years of it.
I'm really bad at socializing. Am I doing good?
You're doing great.
You're doing great.
Good.
Yeah, you're
Good.
doing great.
Speaking of socializing, do you think a drag race run is in your future? Is that something you're interested
I think
in?
I take too long to get ready.
Yeah. God, and don't ask
know
her
what?
to pack up quickly after a show either.
I was good today.
Today was the one day.
I'm getting
I was
better.
Proud. I was proud.
I'm getting, but brunches I do good.
You're young. You're
It's
learning.
bar shows I'm not good. Brunches I'm good. Drag race I think I take too long to get ready. I would try it. I'm a broke from Minneapolis, so I would slit a bitch's throat for 200K. I would put glass and powder for 200K.
Mhm.
Okay.
So, I mean, yeah, if I got offered, I would obviously say yes, but if it doesn't happen, I'd be totally okay with it.
Yeah. Because I feel like you also like, as much as you obviously do drag, like you also like are into like the burlesque and the arts
Absolutely.
too. So like I feel like you don't want to like just do like traditional
Can I
like
put
drag.
lip
Like
gloss
you're not gonna be a buck in the house
No.
down,
No,
you
no,
know,
no,
to
no.
like some classic drag. You're gonna be doing some vintage
Absolutely.
stuff and
that's been another goal moving to the cities. I wanted to get introduced to the burlesque world a lot more. And really, that's the direction I really want to take with my drag right now. And that's where I'm at right now. I want to focus. Obviously, it's always going to be drag and I love that. But I prefer calling myself more of a showgirl than a drag queen.
okay. I think you should learn how to juggle and spit fire.
I can.
Can you juggle for
Yeah.
real? Okay.
Juggle
Can you
for
spit
us
fire?
right now.
Yeah.
Find 3 objects.
I don't believe you. I believe you can juggle. I don't believe you can spit fire though.
Well, come to the firehouse next month.
She's doing a solo show where
Yeah.
she just spits fire and juggles the whole time.
Absolutely. I would love to do a one-woman show.
Yeah, well, one day when you get some more talent behind you, you
Absolutely.
can have that. Until then,
I'm only good at taking my clothes off.
I was like,
That's the real reason why I want to do burlesque. That's my only talent.
until then, you'll be the Michelle to my Beyonce. So don't forget that.
The Michelle Obama to your Beyonce.
To my Barack Obama. You're the Michelle to my Barack.
You're the
What's
Jane
their
Russell
daughter?
to my
What are-
Marilyn.
What are their daughters' names?
Sasha and I just watched her documentary. Sasha and something else.
Okay, you'll be the Sasha to my Barack.
Nice.
Yeah. Okay, so moved to the cities to kind of pursue drag. Have you stayed like in much contact with like any of your friends from the small town? Or are you kind of like, I want to leave that in my past and like move forward?
I mean, I don't remember a lot from high school at all, and I just graduated a year ago.
I was just gonna say it was yesterday.
Yeah, no, I just graduated a year ago, and like my mindset all throughout high school, especially starting drag, I started the last day. My first performance was the last day of my sophomore year.
Okay.
And I think like my mindset since then was just high school is something you just got to get through to do what it is that you really want to do.
Yeah.
So my mindset was just graduate, move on. And I've done that. I don't remember a whole lot from high school, but I do keep in touch with a couple friends from high school. I didn't really have a ton, but I was okay with that.
Yeah.
A lot of my friends were outside of high school, and I keep in touch with most of them.
Okay. So obviously kids probably knew when you were in high school that you were doing drag and performing. Like I would assume it's like a common knowledge thing. Did you ever like get any like negative or positive feedback from it? Did the kids know that you were doing it? I don't know. I just assume with social media that they would know.
I think they knew. I feel like that's one of the only things a lot of people know about me is that I do drag. But again, I don't really remember what the initial reaction was. I don't know. Yeah. I also don't really care.
You're like, I'm doing this whether like no matter what you think about it.
If someone that I went to high school with wants to speak out about it,
I would love to hear. Gmail.com.
Well, I mean, it's great that like you at least never, experienced any bullying about
not
it
at
or
all.
anything?
I remember like from teachers, there was a lot of positive responses, and yeah, you guys know who you are. Shout out. And yeah, just the friends were all cool with it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Never really faced any from anyone I knew at least, and no negative backlash. But I also knew that it takes one look at the people I went to high school with. I knew none of them would have the balls to say it to my face. And I was right.
So what were some of your favorite moments of drag or performances from your beginnings?
Oh, good question. I think just learning. I love learning. Every show I learn something new, and I feel like that's how it should be. I always say the day you stop learning is the day you should stop everything.
Yeah.
And I don't think you have much learning left to do.
Mm-hmm. You're right. You're right. You are right.
Just kidding. But no, seriously. Just learning new things. And I remember my first show, my wig almost came off, but it's like walking off that stage for the first time after performing, like that didn't even matter because the energy was so just there. It was perfect. I feel like that was the moment where I knew.
Do you want to know a really actually great lesson to learn in life?
Please.
Is when you are a beautiful, flawless, talented queen, you learn that to amplify those things, that you surround yourself with people who are really struggling with those things, where they're really like don't have that much talent, they're kind of ugly, lackluster personality, don't really have much inspiration, don't really have a lot to offer. If you book those other kind of people in shows with you, then you look that much better. And I've made a career of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I've seen the people you book. I'm just kidding. That was a joke.
So yeah, that's a
like
good thing
mother,
to learn.
Like mother, like daughter.
Where do you get inspiration from drag?
Mm-hmm.
Who inspires you? Where are you going with that?
Yeah, my biggest inspiration, vintage pop culture, Dita Von Teese, Betty Page, Marilyn Monroe. Those are my things. Where do I want to go with drag? The end goal is to be a full-time I want to travel, full-time traveling burlesque showgirl. Take off my clothes for a living.
Okay.
But in a classy way, In
a classy way.
Yes.
So as a young queer person, you had supportive parents.
Yeah.
You relatively supportive high school. If not, you didn't really realize because you didn't give a shit, which kudos to you, mama.
Thank you.
How do you feel about the state of the world right now, in that a lot of people in your generation are kind of sliding backwards into a less accepting?
I wake up every day and I'm absolutely disgusted. Like, on a real note, this world is so fucked up right now. It's crazy. Like, I've never seen it. I'm young, but I've never seen it like this before. And like, I don't know, like, do you remember a time in your lifetime where it was like this? Because I don't. Like, this world is fucked.
Yeah, I am.
I feel like, yeah.
I feel like I have a weird stance on this of like, I tend to be like I can be negative, but I tend to be a really overly positive person where like,
That's good.
I wake up every day and like, I know the world's fucked, but instead of like focusing on that, I think of what can I do to make it better?
That part. And also as queer people, like our attitude should be what else you got, not no, please, no more.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's good. I like that. That's good advice.
We, I don't know when this particular episode will air or not, but we're coming off of Pride weekend here in the Chippewa Valley.
Great Pride weekend.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And for the first time, we had more than just our one lone protester at the park. There was like a group of 4 or 5 people. Again, not much comparatively to what most prides experience. But I just felt like so many people like were giving it attention, and it's just so not even worth giving attention to because they weren't really like they were like there with their sign, and honestly there was rainbows on the sign, so I didn't even realize they were protesters until I really sat there and read it. I just like walked by them without realizing.
What did their sign say?
I don't remember. Like that's the thing. It was like also just so dumb. Like it wasn't like burn in hell. It was like it was more like God needs you to be of love. You know, it was like it wasn't even anything bad.
Give God the rainbow back.
Yeah, like it was just like I'm just kind of like, if you sit and focus on the like negativity, you focus on the negative energy, the negative things, like that's what your life is going to be. So I try to like fill my life with positivity. It's good. How can I make a change? How can I help? How can I do things like let the people talk and let the people do the crazy shit they want to do and whatever. But it like literally, it doesn't affect my life right now. Like, yes, we need to be diligent about like politics and who we're voting for and being out there and doing those things because that will affect my life essentially. Mm-hmm. But like some idiot running their mouth and saying something at Pride is not going to affect me that day. It's not going to cause me to have a mental breakdown. It's not going to cause me to question my sexuality, my life, my choices, my things, who I am. And I feel like some people just let that shit eat at them and just get them down, where it's like, that's not a bother to me. I'm gonna hit you where it counts in the voting booth and in the things that matter, and I'm going to get out in my community and raise the funds and get those organizations support that need to do that, to be the difference. I think
you've been doing exactly that.
Yeah, that's what I do.
Absolutely.
It's activism that extends offline.
Yes,
which we talk about often on this podcast.
Yes, yeah.
I wish a lot more people would really lead by example too.
Yeah. Yes. You all need to do it.
Y'all.
No, it's important. It is important though. And I do like sometimes like, I think there also is like, I'm sure you kind of experience this too, Diablo, with like people talking about like family friendly drag, and like some people don't want to be that. And obviously like kind of the direction you're moving in is not going to be family friendly, doing a lot of burlesque stuff and things like that. And I love that. And I love that there's some queens that are just like, I am not a family friendly drag queen. You're not going to catch me at the Drag Story Hour. You're not going to catch me raising funds for the Trevor Project. And it's like, love that for you. Love pink. Love that. But it's
love pink.
It's also important to have the family friendly queens. And like, if there wasn't, there wouldn't be little Diablos in the world.
And it just,
you know?
But it also makes no sense to me, because saying that all drag is bad, or not all drag is not for children, that's like saying all TV is not for children.
Mm-hmm. Right.
There are children's TV shows, just like how there are children's drag shows. There are TV shows that maybe children shouldn't watch, just like how there are drag shows children shouldn't watch. Like, I just don't understand what's not clicking with people.
Yeah, it's just people see the world in one way and they don't want to look beyond it. And, you know, that's a them problem, not an us problem.
That part.
And we're very lucky to be in a community that is so open-minded and so wonderful. Like, I wish just sometimes that people could, like, get to experience the Chippewa Valley and, like, just for example, yesterday at Pride in the Park, I had so many people being like, yeah, I was just at like Marshfield Pride or Viroqua Pride or these like different smaller town prides in Wisconsin. Like, there were so many protesters, or there were so many people being mean and nasty and yelling things. And it's like, we don't have that, you know? And how lucky we are in the Chippewa Valley to have so many supportive allies. Like, it's
absolutely.
Just, it's wild. Like, honestly, when I mean, maybe you can attest to this too, as like, cause you've been going out in the cities more and things like that. Like, a good majority of the people who are coming to shows and experiencing there are queer people, which is awesome to experience. But like, if you come to most of our venues and shows, I would say, I've said this before on the podcast, it's like 80% ally, 20% queer.
Yeah.
And like in the cities, it's probably reversed. It's more like 80% queer, 20% allyship.
For sure.
Which is like awesome. And I love that there's both perspectives to that and that I get to see that because I come up to the cities and try to be supportive of you and Amber and your shows and things and get to experience that. But I just don't think people are always so lucky to experience smaller communities that really are supportive of their queer people.
Not at all. And that's why I try really hard not to forget where I came from. And I love doing shows up here.
Again, you've had, not to say an easy go of it, but you've had it a lot better than, some queer kids have. So what has been like your biggest struggle with growing up as a queer kid? And being a young queer person in this day and age?
I mean, I feel like every queer person goes through this, but just like really finding yourself. And on that journey of finding yourself, you tend to shut a lot of people out, which, like I didn't have any friends in school. So like my whole life, it's just been like me kind of steering this wheel. So, and I feel like almost every queer person goes through that. But like, whereas, just it's been a one-woman show my whole life.
Yeah.
Truly.
So what's given you the strength to be comfortable being you and being yourself and exploring this parts of your life?
I don't really know when I had the realization, but I was just in high school. I think I just had the mindset where I had nothing else to lose, and life is just so much more fun when you don't care what people think about you.
Yeah.
So
if you could say something to kids that are your age or a little bit younger that may be struggling to want to come out or feel like, and you have said like you don't feel like you should have to, which is great. And I love that. I think that that's a great mindset. I think it's fine. For me, I also think that there's power in coming out and like
absolutely
and holding that, because I'm just like of a different generation where it was like you had that like power of like, this is who I am, and it's kind of was like a fuck you back to people. Absolutely. Almost, but I love that we're at a point where like you feel like you don't need to have that moment, which is great. But let's say there are younger people who are listening to this and need to have some inspiration of like, what would you say to them about like what life is like and what life can be like and why they should have the power in that?
Being queer, it's like writing a book and you're the author of your own story. Take your time. Really, just take your time. Don't let anyone else direct you in whatever direction, because like I said, you're the author of your own story, and life is such a roller coaster. You can either write it being scared or write it with your arms up and going woohoo. So just take your time, be the author of your own story. And if I could do it, I feel like anyone can.
If you were to know 15-year-old Chance, would you have made out with him?
Probably not. I'm not trying to catch anything.
Girl, when I was 15, I was a slut back then too.
I'm an active listener of this podcast.
Yeah. What would you think of 15-year-old Khloe?
Oh, we'd be best friends.
Yeah, we probably would have been really mean to people. I did.
That's why the universe waited so long for it to meet.
Yeah, you would have been too
powerful. We're still mean to people though.
True. I ran into a girl that I went to high school with yesterday who is queer as well, and we were talking about a guy from my high school that was not. Well, he's still not out, that I hook up with from time to time, and he had said that after I hooked up with him, I wanted him to leave because I didn't want to talk to him after sex. And he's like, God, you were a jerk in high school. And I was like, well, not much has changed. Can you leave? Like, I really actually don't want to talk to you. And she's like, yeah, you were kind of an asshole in high school. And I was like, okay, well, I didn't like, okay, I was. Yeah. So if I was mean to you in high school, I'm really sorry. I now raise money for queer people.
She's a good person, I promise.
She's all right.
Yeah. Well, do you have anything else you'd like our audience to know about you?
My Venmo is, I'm just kidding.
Okay, very that.
But no, just like I said, you're the author of your own story, go at your own pace and just keep doing you. And like I said, life is so much more fun when you stop caring what people think about you.
Love that. Where can the people find you?
I am on Instagram at Here Is Diablo. I am on TikTok at Here Is Diablo. I'll start posting on there more. Yeah.
Cool. Great. Anything you'd like to say to Chance and I specifically?
Getting to know both of you has been a privilege, and I adore both of you, and I'm really lucky to call both of you two really good friends.
Okay.
Gay.
dare I say, even some of my closest friends.
Oh. Is it because we're just sitting close to you on the couch right now?
Yeah.
And you feel scared?
And we're very large and we could crush you like an ant.
So this has been Small Town, Small Gay with Diablo with my two big gay friends.
Awesome. Well, thanks for joining us.
Thank you for
thank
having
you.
me. This was fun.
Yeah.
Did I do good?
You did the best you could.
Okay.
And that's
Yeah.
all we asked for.
I try. That's all I try to do.
Yeah.
That's all you can do.
Yeah. Every show, you go out there
I take my clothes off.
despite everything that's against you, and there's a lot against you, and you say, I'm not going to let this stop me, and I'm going to do my best. And you go out there and you do the best with what you have, which is not a lot. And for that, I say, amen.
Right back at you, mother.
Amen.
Okay, bye.
Okay,
Bye.
bye.
Mwah.
Small Town Big Gays is hosted by Travis Gorell and me, Chance Smith. Our music is 1am by TYB. You can check out his music. Links are in the episode description. Follow us on Instagram and TikTok at STBG Pod. Find us on Facebook if you're a Facebook person. Email us at smalltownbiggays@gmail.com. And for more shit from me, Chance, go to strangehavens.com.